This program is brought to you by thepodcastfactory.com.
How would you like to get more customers, make more profits, and have bigger breakthroughs? Get Doberman Dan's profit-boosting breakthroughs. Normally, this would cost you $98 per month, but right now, for listening to this show, he's giving you a free copy of his Doberman Dan letter. All you have to do is go to DobermanDan.com and sign up to get your free copy now.
Prepare yourself for the uncensored, nothing held back, no BS reality of how business and life really work. Doberman Dan is off the chain.
I don't have anything pithy to say.
I thought that was your intro.
No, let's just, okay. So that'll be our start. Me saying, I don't have anything pithy to say. And I'm pretty pissed off about that too.
You sound like it.
And I'm wearing my pith helmet. Oh, I am pissed. But I look pretty darn snappy in my pith helmet, even though I'm pissed off.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Speaking of the way you look, bro, I know that, and we're going to talk more about this next time. I got something up my sleeve for you. But I've noticed when I was at your Gold Mastermind this last time, you seem, and maybe it was just in my mind, you seem to have reduced a little bit. There seemed to be less Dan to hug. Have you been working out or doing some cardio? What's going on?
Cocaine. It's best reducing plan ever. I am half the man I used to be. No, not quite, but yes, I have reduced. I'm the lightest I've been in 15 or 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah, well, so it started out paleo. I did drop a lot of weight on paleo. I went extreme paleo at one point. I don't even know if it's paleo. I went Vince Garanda, like I talked about in a previous episode.
Yeah.
It was his pre-contest plan back in the day.
No, really?
You eat nothing but red meat. Let me see, red meat. He hated chicken. You eat nothing but red meat and occasionally fish. That's it. No veggies or nothing. And I think I did that for like 3 weeks.
Wow.
And dropped weight really fast. And then I added veggies and things were cool. And then I got turned on to Dr. Stephen Gundry's Plant Paradox book, which talks about lectins in plants. Did you ever hear about this? Did you ever read that book?
Mm-mm.
It's pretty fascinating. So plants aren't just these things stuck in one place in the ground, these helpless little things that we think they are. They have protection mechanisms against prey that try to eat them. And that can be a variety of things, but a lot of times it's lectins, these compounds that cause all kinds of interesting reactions in the body, and not pleasant reactions like inflammation and histamine reactions, allergic reactions, stuff like that. But bugs and animals are smarter than us. So when a bug or an animal eats a plant that has lectins and it gets this bad reaction, the bug or animal says, oh, geez, I ate that plant, got a bad reaction. Therefore, I will not eat it again. But humans are stupid. You know, we eat it, we get a bad reaction, we get inflammation, start sneezing and get gas and uncontrollable flatulence in important social situations and in allergic reactions and swelling and bloating and boogers falling out of our nose. And we're like, oh, that pizza was darn delicious. I'm going to eat it again. We get the same reaction. We're like, never connecting the two when the bugs or animals are smarter than us.
No kidding.
So it's a cool read about lectins and which particular plants you should avoid and which you should eat. And that was a easy switch for me from paleo to that. And it opened up more food choices for me. And I continued losing weight on that. So that's the secret.
No kidding. Well, cool, man. I didn't get to mention it to you, but I thought you might be up to something like that. So looking good, buddy. Looking good. What do you have in store for us today?
Thank you. Thank you so much. You say that to all the boys. But I will take that compliment. So I'm going to talk about how to get unstuck. If you're stuck, how to get unstuck. If you're stuck, you need to get unstuck. Because as I mentioned, As I mentioned at the close of my last record, this album is an example of the completion backward principle. Again, I love using obscure 80s references, and I bet you nobody gets that one. If you know the reference, call our number. What's our number, Jonathan? Call our hotline number.
Now you got to look it up.
And tell us what that reference was. As I mentioned near the close of our last record, this album is another example of the completion backward principle. If you can possibly manage the time, please play the whole side at one setting. So if you know that, call us and let us know. I'll give you some sort of prize.
So here's the number.
Anybody knows that.
321-424-6043. That's 321-424-6043. Again, 321-424-6043.
Ah, you've learned from infomercials and radio commercials, I see.
I did. I'm trying to build up credits for the next time you ask me. I said it 4 times already.
Well, here's why you want to get unstuck if you are stuck. Because you either growing or you dying. There ain't no coasting in life. And definitely in business. And do you find, Jonathan, that most entrepreneurs always feel like they're stuck? They're always reaching for something. They're never just like, yeah, I'm content, I'm satisfied.
You know, Dan, I thought about this in the last episode when you were talking about some of these entrepreneurial issues. And the thing is, I think most of us are in love with the journey. And so when we feel stuck, it's because we're not necessarily looking back to see how far we came. And instead, we're looking forward at those new goals that we keep setting for ourselves for this endless journey we're on.
I think you're right. And those who don't understand that are some pretty frustrated hombres and mujeres. Because and you could speak to this probably better than I, because you're a member of Dan, what's its name, coaching. Help me out, Dan.
The other Dan Sullivan.
Dan Sullivan, thank you. It's the gap and the gain.
Right.
When you spend your entire time looking at the gap, in other words, you're at point A and you're looking down the road at point B where you want to go, and all you see is that gap, well, life sucks. You think you suck. You don't value any of the growing that you've done. If you don't at least occasionally turn around and look back at where you came from and look at the gain,
you're dead.
So how to get unstuck? There are many ways to get unstuck. I'm just going to mention one. And one is every business has a core business. Okay. And when you think about it, there are other opportunities that can come out of that core business. For example, Dan Kennedy was talking about the WWE. Well, go back in the day, like when I was a kid. What it was more or less back then was 2 guys in the ring wrestling. Yeah, it was a show, but it certainly isn't like the show you see now. So that's the core business. And what has that spawned? That's spawned a whole bunch of interconnected businesses, products, revenue streams, like pay-per-view TV shows, TV specials, movies, apps, games, product stuff. You know, there's even WWE. I was going to say dolls. It's not dolls when you buy that stuff for boys. It's action figures. You know, clothing, apparel. With lifelike hair and Kung Fu grip. Book stuff, comic books, licensing deals. All those mini businesses spawned from their core business. So I think that's one of the quickest ways of getting unstuck. Look at your core business and think, okay, what other mini businesses, what other licensing deals, what other things can be connected with my core business? And, you know, put that on a mind map thing. Put your core business in the center and start drawing lines out from it. And just think of, okay, what can my business spawn? Do I have a process in my particular niche that I can license to other businesses? Or do I have a process in my niche that I can license to other niches? So the key to this, I think, is just to set aside all preconceived ideas and throw out all the limits and think of, what can my core business spawn? So of course, getting unstuck, of course, focus on your core business and do everything you can to grow that and make that as profitable as you can. But sometimes the best way to grow your business is with these spawning these other offshoot businesses or these mini business or related business or projects. So like Amazon could have gotten stuck as an online bookseller. And I don't know what Bezos' business model was when he launched. I don't know if he really just thought, we're going to be a huge online bookseller, or if he really, from the very beginning, if he knew that thing was going to morph into the monster that it has become. But he could have, if that was the original business model, he could have gotten stuck there. I could have gotten stuck as just a newsletter publisher when I first started publishing the Doberman Dan letter in 2011. Or was it 2010? Well, whatever it was. It's been a while. I could have just been a newsletter publisher, but that spawned a membership with a higher price point. That spawned various coaching programs. That launched me as a speaker. That launched me into other copywriting gigs. That launched me as a consultant. It's just all related to that core business. So there's just a quickie idea for getting unstuck. Look at your core business, write that on a sheet of paper, or get one of those big ass butcher's roll of butcher's paper and write it in there. Give yourself the freedom to draw these big long lines stemming from that and figure out, what other related businesses or mini businesses can I spawn? Think of yourself like Disney and just throw out all the preconceived ideas, throw out all the limits, just shut off the internal editor in your head and write it down, no matter how ridiculous it sounds, because it might not just be your master key to getting unstuck. This might be the key to you getting a major breakthrough in starting an entirely new business that you never would have thought of, that could possibly even eclipse your core business. You know what I mean, Vern?
You know what it reminds me of? I've been going old school lately, and I think it might be Jay Abraham and his thinking of getting the most out of what you got, where it's like you've already got these clients, yet you spend so much time going out there and looking for new ones to keep filling in the loss or the attrition, where you could just be looking at your clients and their questions and looking for more opportunities to serve them better and giving them more reasons to give you money. And I think most people miss that.
So true. Just like I said in the previous episode, if you can't afford to lose it, don't do it.
Yeah.
People are clueless about how the money is really made in this business. And everybody gets so focused on the front end, they think more new customers is the solution. Rarely is that the solution to more profits. Most people suck at their back end marketing.
Yeah.
And, as I mentioned, here's a totally shameless plug. As I mentioned in my new book, Just Sell the Damn Thing. Do you like how I kind of snuck that in there?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, snuck is not a word. Never has been.
Snooked it.
Yeah. The proper English is snooked. Past tense of snook. So do you like how I snooked that in there, Snooky?
Yeah.
It's all about the back end. And I give several case studies of what happens when, if you're so enamored with your front end, if you'll just devote a portion of the time and money you invest in getting new customers, if you'll just invest a portion of that in servicing your existing customers and building a relationship with them and continuing to offer them more and more products, your profit margins can explode in a very short period of time. If you want to really grow and you want to see some exponential profit increases, then invest the same amount of money and same effort and same time in working your back end as you do your front end. And that's how you do like what Agora Financial recently did in 2 years, go from 50 million a year to surpassing 150 a million a year. And by the way, to put that into context, so to go from $100,000 a year business to $200,000 a year business, not super tough. To go from $500,000 to $1 million, not super tough. $1 million to $2 million starts getting a little harder. $2 million to $4 million, harder. Going to 10 million, really hard. Most entrepreneurs never break that ceiling. But to go from 50 million to 150 million in 2 years, it's so hard. Some people would say that's damn near impossible. But how do you do it? Well, because those guys are smart. First of all, they know their numbers like we just talked about last week. And second of all, they spend as much time and money working their back end as they do their front end.
Well, it was interesting listening to some of the Agora people at your Gold Mastermind talk about what they do once they get a customer, because they don't have anything going out for free. So the only list they have is a buyer's list. And once someone gets on that buyer's list, they start hammering them with even more offers, 2, 3, 4 offers a day till the people buy more or drop out. And I think most people are just afraid to do that.
Yeah, I think so too. They're afraid that they're going to burn out their list or people are going to unsubscribe. Well, you know what? People are going to unsubscribe regardless. And most of those, you want them to unsubscribe because this isn't just about attracting your ideal customer. It's about repelling people who are not your ideal customers. So plus the Agora Financial boys, as I affectionately call them, boys and girls, they know almost to the day how much money they're going to get from a new customer. They also know at what point on average a customer becomes inactive. And there's always a honeymoon period with a new customer. 90 days, the first 90 days is a good rule of thumb. You better do everything you possibly can to cement that relationship, build that relationship within that first 90 days and make as many good offers to those new customers as you can. Because if you don't, within that 90-day period, you're really shortchanging yourself. First of all, you're screwing yourself out of the opportunity to build a relationship with a customer who will, because you did certain things, they will stick around long term. If you want a really good example of how to do that, and of course this is self-serving because it's my own business, then you should become knighted into my Marketing Camelot, which you can find out about at marketingcamelot.com.
Boom.
Because within the first 60 days and very soon 90 days, I'm adding another step, you're going to see some very unique things that I do to build a relationship. Does it work? Well, average retention of my nights is 18 months at $98 a month. When most of the people with any kind of online membership for like 30 to 50 bucks are having a Bible thumping, pew jumping, snake shaking, tongue talking, hallelujah breakdown if they can get their members to stick 3 months at 50 bucks a month. And I'm at 18 months at 98 bucks a month and working and still refining my process to get that stick rate even longer. If you become knighted at marketingcamelot.com, you're going to see my process. And that it all goes back to the honeymoon period. You know, you've only got a limited period of time when you get a new customer to really cement that relationship. So that was somewhat off the topic of how to get unstuck, but not so much.
I don't think it was. It was go to the people that have given you money, get more ideas on how you can help them and keep them around longer. How is that not helping?
True. That's another example of getting unstuck. And speaking of your existing customers, so Sir Sean of My Sale, one of my nights, and he was also at our Gold Mastermind meeting a couple weeks ago, Jonathan. He said he revealed the process that his company goes through they've got a crazy high hit rate with their back-end offers. So far, every back-end product that they've offered their customer list has been really successful because They've got a process to go through. It's a little more complex than this, but here's the basics. They ask their customers what they want to buy. Dun, da, da, da. And their customers tell them. And then you know what they do next? They sell it to them.
No.
Genius. Absolutely genius, isn't it?
My mind has exploded.
Well, it was a mighty small explosion.
It's one more of a pop.
I thought I heard like a small, teeny tiny pop. Yeah, or if they think they know what their customers they want, they'll ask them, hey, we've got a line on this doohickey. Would you be interested in buying that? And then they've got a system that they go through to collate the answers and figure out, if it's a go or a no-go. So, you're just sitting on a gold mine. If you got a customer list that you're ignoring, you're sitting on a gold mine. And that's a second key to you getting unstuck. Work your back end for the love of God, man. For the love of all things good and holy. If I could grab you by the lapels, I would and shake you. For the love of God, man, work your back end. Judas H. Priest. Amazing. I have to scold people into doing the most obvious things in their business.
That's what you're here for, Dan. So another episode of the Off the Chain Show is in the can. Thank you, K9 Crew, for tuning in. We'll be back in your earbuds next time. Hope you enjoyed today's show. K9 Crew got a special treat for you, what we are affectionately referring to as the Off the Chain Hotline. Tell us you love us. Tell us you hate us. Ask questions. We don't care. Just call 321-424-6043 and give us a piece of your mind. Thanks for listening. And remember, if you want to create rivers of revenue from your existing customers, then the next thing you need to do is go to DobermanDan.com. He's giving away a free copy of his $98 per month Doberman Dan letter just for listening to the show. Go to DobermanDan.com now and sign up for your free issue.
This is the podcastfactory.com.